Hello everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vorse. Yesterday we spoke about the informal, undeclared, but nonetheless full-blown operating schism in the church. Bottom line, faithful Catholics who see the reality of the current crisis situation are pulling away from the sinful structures of the institutional church and banding together to raise new structures. The old institutional church, meaning specifically the chancery offices and departments headed up by who Pope Benedict calls professional Catholics, the Catholic education system which completely failed to pass on the faith, the religious orders who worship anyone and anything except Jesus Christ, the universities and seminaries and parishes that have fallen into a state of such disrepair as to be good for nothing except to be bulldozed. This is what we're talking about by the institutional church. It has been compromised, seemingly beyond even the possibility of renewal, by the sins of its leaders, both clerical and lay. What is emerging from the rubble and devastation is the real Church Militant, what the institutional church has sought to destroy for the past 50 years. The resurrecting Church Militant loves the Holy Father, embraces faithful bishops, uplifts its holy priests, submits in willing love to the teachings of the magisterium, and is thoroughly C-A-T-H-O-L-I-C Catholic. It not only acknowledges, but defends and advances the Eucharistic Lord, promotes the sacrament of confession, and utterly rejects modernism that has so corrupted many bishops, priests, theologians, religious orders, universities, Catholic hospitals, parishes, and resulted in a mass apostasy hitherto unseen in 2,000 years. So, what has been the response of the institutional sinful structures supporters, the professional Catholics crowd, so deliberately referenced and singled out by our Holy Father? Laying on their deathbed, this crowd has launched a string of invective against the Church Militant that happily distinguishes them from any claim to being authentically Catholic. As they sense their power slipping through increasingly arthritic fingers, they are marshaling their forces, selling off church property at a dizzying pace, demonizing those who they consider their enemies, stepping up their efforts at preventing faithful Catholic communities from expressing the faith authentically in their devotional life, sacramental life, liturgical life. They are raging and ranting and rattling from their deathbeds, using all the power and authority they can still exercise to slow down this counter-revolution in the church. And they will fail miserably. To be certain, they're not done. They are still corrupting many who come in the reach of their clutches. That they are still breathing and active and alive is not the point, however. That a counter to their wiles is now strengthening. This is the point. They are growing tired and old in spirit, while the Church Militant is young, full of vigor, organizing, and finding its footing. They will launch every assault they can muster against the forces attacking their fortress of modernism, warned about by Pope St. Pius X, but defense never wins the day. In the end, the victory always goes to the valiant, to those on the offense. They may experience continued success here and there. They may have a momentary victory in marginalizing a good priest in this place or that place, or drawing down suspicion on some group or another. But ultimately, they will fail because they belong to history. They are ready to pass from the stage of world history and, more specifically, church history. In 100 years or so, their phony theology and kumbaya ecclesiology will be a joke in seminaries and religious houses, just as so many other attempts to refashion the church into something other than the bride of Christ have proven to be. History and the Lord of history are on the side of the resurrecting Church Militant. We currently find ourselves in the period of transition, the retaking of the ecclesial Bastille, if you please. What should the attitude be for the foot soldiers in this counter-revolutionary thrust? With regard to our blessed Lord, you should be eternally humbled and grateful that He has chosen you to be alive and live for Him at this moment of sacred history. From all eternity, He brought you forth today to take your place in His heavenly vanguard to rescue His bride. Now, with regard to the proper disposition toward those who have corrupted the institutional church, it should be to show every mercy to them, not an ounce of mercy, however, to their corruptions. Pray that they may see the light. Do whatever you can to win them back to orthodoxy and wage a holy war against their perverse doctrines and failed theologies and soul-endangering liturgies and twisted relativistic philosophy. And to be certain, this has already begun in large. Faithful Catholics are already voting with their feet and their pocketbooks. Many are now refusing to support financial campaigns of the institutional church and are steering their funds to the resurrecting Church Militant. Good for them. They are donating in increasing numbers to efforts that expand the Church Militant, the brick and mortar of new convents, monasteries, chapels, seminaries, schools, universities. They are embracing the efforts of other faithful Catholics in the digital media and brave new technological world of evangelization. And has happened so many times in the past with numerous religious orders, a great reform is underway. The old is passing away and the new is springing forth. And it is happening at a pace that is accelerating. Have you ever noticed that even after the deepest, darkest winters with feet of snow and slush and ice piled up, just how fast it disappears with the slightest warming of temperatures and the sunlight starting to break through? It's time to start looking for your shades. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.